Welcome. Thanks for joining us on the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Deb Gillard, your host, and today is Wednesday, March 7th. We are very glad you're with us in any of the ways that you can find us, whether it's cable TV in the Owatonna area, of course, Charter Channel 8. We have a Facebook page now. You can get to us there and watch shows, and also YouTube. Just head out to YouTube, type in Owatonna Today Show, and Leanne will have programs there for you to click on the date of the one you would like to see. So make sure if you need to catch a show or want to catch a show that you didn't, or a piece of one, or especially if someone does not live right in our area or get charter cable and they do want to get some of the information that we pass along here on the Owatonna Today Show, make sure you direct them to one of those areas as well. Coming up this weekend too, don't forget, and I'll be mentioning it throughout the week, daylight savings time. We do change this weekend, so get ready to set your clocks ahead. We're going to spring forward this year, or this time of the year, of course. We're going to take you out on location for our first part of the show today, and I think you're going to recognize, I'm going to say, Beth Bednar. Once we get into the interview, I think you're going to recognize how you know her, and more than that, she's written a book, and you're going to recognize what she has written about too. Very interesting interview, and it was very much a pleasure to meet her. We're going to do that first, and after that, we'll be back in studio and talking Safe and Drug-Free Coalition. So we'll take our break for our supporters, and we'll head out on location to meet Beth. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Live full, live well, live long. The mission of the Owatonna Senior Place is to involve, enrich, and empower adults 50 years of age or better to live as independently as possible in our communities. We do this by promoting the wellness of adults 50 years of age or better through recreational, educational, and social opportunities, as well as being a referral source for services available within our service area. Activities and programming of the center emphasize creating, maintaining independence in all phases of life. Please come and join us today.
Hi, we're Mark and Becky Stevens of the Owatonna Pizza Ranch.
And we support the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We are on location at our beautiful Owatonna Arts Center with a very, very wonderful guest who's going to share some information with us. Beth Bednar joins us. How are you, Beth?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm going to, rather than myself telling our viewers how they might know you, they're probably looking at you saying, my, she looks familiar. A little bit of your history, please. You are originally, we would have seen you where?
You would have seen me on Channel 6 in Austin, KAAL-TV. I worked there for nearly 20 years, left in 1994.
Right.
And so a lot of people still recognize me, despite the advancing years.
Been kind to you, been very, very kind to you.
But I left in 1994, and I like to tease people, as I told you earlier, I like to tease people that all they really know how to do is walk and talk at the same time. But
it's a good talent to have.
Yes, but I now work as a corporate trainer and professional speaker. I do a lot of business development training, travel around the United States. It's a good fit for me because I've always really worked in the public eye. And so now I enjoy that, but I also have begun to write as well. So
and that's one of the things.
New dimension to my career.
A new part of your life,
That's right.
And it's nice to create new chapters for ourselves. No pun intended here, I guess. But you are actually here to speak this evening on the day that we're filming for the AAUW group,
right?
And specifically about yourself, and even more specifically about the book that you have written. And let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I wrote a book about. Many people remember the case of Jody, who was in Chute, who disappeared. She was the KIMT TV3 news anchor down in Mason City. She disappeared in 1995, just a few months after I left my television position. I tell you, I was so rocked,
I think we all affected. I think we all were in this area, that something of this magnitude would happen in our little Midwestern area.
Yes, and of course in the television broadcast industry, it really shook a lot of people. It became very real, and I for one had really never even thought of it in those terms of, being a dangerous occupation.
No.
And certainly that was a shocking wake-up call for all of us. Well, that case impacted me greatly, and you know, it's been simmering inside me for a lot of years.
Okay.
But finally decided a couple of years ago I was going to get serious about it and wrote a book about the case.
With some impetus from your son, you said,
Yes.
too. Mom, you keep talking about it and thinking about it. Write the book.
That's right. He did. My son is now grown, and he actually lives overseas. He's in China at the moment.
Okay.
But he sat me down one day a couple of years ago, and he said, Mom, write the damn book.
Just do it, right?
Yeah, he said, you've been talking about it for so long, it's time.
And so here it is. It
Yeah.
is called Dead Air. We want to make sure that we show our viewers the book. And talk a little bit about writing a book with the interest that you had in it, or even more than interest, I guess, how it affected you. How did you go about writing this book?
Well, I really started by talking to people. As I said, I did not know Jodi personally. I had met her once or twice on a professional basis while we were both in TV. It was no more than that. But when I really got serious about writing the book, I started to approach people, not only law enforcement and private investigators, but also friends and family and colleagues, the people she worked with. I wanted to find out, although you know we still don't know where Jodi is. There still has never been an arrest made in connection with the case.
Amazing.
Yet I found out, I mean, there's so many people know so much.
Really?
And it's really surprising what I found out. There was a lot of apprehension at the very beginning, I'll be honest with you, when I went out, and people kind of held me at arm's length, like, what do you want to open this up for?
Really?
That was so surprising to me, especially in the Mason City area. A lot of people didn't want to talk to me.
I wonder
And
why.
then, well, that kind of leads me to believe that perhaps a lot of people know more than
Maybe they've let on?
want to talk about.
Oh, goodness.
There's a lot of allegations surrounding the entire case, and it's obviously the mystery of the whole thing. But I'm happy to say that many of her friends, her colleagues, did talk to me and have since given me validation. Her sister did not trust me at first, too, because she kind of wondered if I was going to turn it into a big sensationalistic thing. I had to, work on her and talk with her for a while until she grew to trust me.
Okay.
And I'm happy to say that her family and friends now, after they've read the book, have come out in support of it and are very happy with the way I portrayed Jodi. They said it was about as accurate a portrayal as anybody could have done. Okay. She was an interesting, complicated woman, like many of us are.
Sure.
And I think I managed to tell her story pretty well.
I think that most of our viewers, if they have lived in this area for at least any amount of time, or certainly since that time, will of course remember it. For those that may not or have come to this area more recently, and again, I don't want you to go into the whole book. We want people to read it and buy it. But in any case, a little bit about Jodi and the case, maybe, if you could.
Right. Well, she was 27 years old when she disappeared from Mason City. Her coworker had called her at 4 o'clock in the morning on that summer morning. She was supposed to do the morning show at 6 a.m. She hadn't shown up. Those were the days of landlines, no cell phones at that time. She called her at her home. Jodi answered at 4 o'clock, had overslept apparently. By 4:30, her coworker called again to the same phone, and the phone went unanswered. So we have to assume that Jodi left her apartment at that time. The crime, or the fact that she was missing, was finally reported to police about 7 a.m. that morning, after the morning show had already gone on with somebody else doing the work for her. And police came upon a crime scene in her parking lot of the apartment building where she lived. Her car was still there. There was a bent key on the site, indicating that there was either pressure from her hand or the hand of her assailant. And a number of items, personal items of hers, were strewn kind of in a wide area across the parking lot. Thus began the biggest manhunt in Iowa history at the time. And as we know, she's not yet been found. It's close to 17 years later.
It's amazing, isn't it?
She's not yet been found, and no one, not one single person, has ever been arrested in connection with the case.
It's amazing when you hear about cases like this, and we do off and on, that someone didn't see something that, and as you wrote it, I'm sure that sounds like the feeling that you got, that maybe there were people that did. and have never really come forward. How
That's
else could it
right.
be explained that no one would
Yes.
know what went on and where she would be?
Exactly. And it was early in the morning. It was pre-dawn, but it was high summer, right after the summer solstice.
Okay.
So the sky was already beginning to brighten somewhat by that time, and people were moving about. I mean, you know, there are always early risers or insomniacs or
paper deliverers
paper
or
deliveries
whatever.
and things like that. There was a jogger in the area that had some observations, and so it is really surprising that nobody, you know, has come up with anything. I talk about a lot of these things in the book.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Anything that happened to be extremely surprising, you know, you mentioned the process and having people kind of that hands off. Other than that, were there any things, or was there anything that was terribly surprising as you did your research?
I guess really surprising was that the way people knew people in Mason City, and how Jody may have immersed herself without even being aware of what she was doing into the wrong kinds of groups of people in the Mason City area. That was surprising. The other thing was that people really kept me at arm's length at the very beginning, until I really started kind of pushing and prodding and asking again and again.
Okay. So it took you about how long to write the whole story?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
Until publication.
Which was about a year ago. It was May of last year?
2011.
Okay.
It came out. It's available on Amazon.com and at all regional Barnes & Noble stores as well. And some independent bookstores carry it as well, but it can be ordered obviously on the internet or through Barnes & Noble, and it is in stores around here.
Well, it is called Dead Air, and it's called The Disappearance of Jody Huisentruit, and of course it doesn't solve anything, but I guess my big question to you is how was it for you after all those many years having it affect you, and then going forward and writing the book? Has it been cathartic at all, cleansing experience for you?
In many ways it was for me, and I hope it will be for Jody too, and Jody's family. I hope to find some closure.
Okay, well, thank you so much for visiting with us, and it's a pleasure to have you here in Owatonna, and best of luck in all that you do, your training work and your writing work as it progresses, and we hope to see more and better and different things from you. And Beth, thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thanks to our Owatonna Today Show viewers for being with us and getting to know Beth Bednar a little bit better here on the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, this is Dave Efforts with TPS Insurance, and we are proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hello, I'm Matthew Camp, the new plastic surgeon at Mayo Clinic Health System of Owatonna and Albert Lea. I trained in medical school at Wake Forest in North Carolina and completed plastic surgery training in Southern California at Loma Linda. Plastic surgeons provide a wide range of aesthetic and reconstructive surgery. We operate from head to toe. I look forward to meeting you.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson with the Owatonna Business Incubator. We're here to help small businesses start and to grow. We're a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
I didn't just want another job, I wanted a career. So I expressed myself.
I was new to town and I didn't know where to turn for a job. So I decided to express myself.
I decided to express myself, and they helped find the right career for me.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Did you know that it is illegal in the city of Owatonna to host or allow a gathering where minors will be consuming alcoholic beverages on your property or in your residence? Did you know it is illegal to provide minors with alcohol unless they are your own kids, in your own home, and you are present? Underage drinking leads to increased risks of future chemical dependency, engaging in more serious criminal activity, and becoming a victim of a crime. Please help keep our kids in our community safe by not encouraging, hosting, or allowing underage drinking. This is a message from the Owatonna Police Department and the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition of Steele County.
Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us. It is Wednesday, March 7th, and we've got a full house here for the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition. So some brief interviews and then lots of good information. Chief Keith Hiller, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. Detective Mark Edel, how are you?
Very good.
Thanks for joining us, both of you. And our regular, Tanya Paley from the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition. How are you doing, Tanya?
Doing great.
Good, good. And they all have their reasons to be here and talk with us. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of information to cover. So we'll start kind of first with you, Chief Hiller, and an overview of the Owatonna Police Department, we have you on frequently, and I know there have been some mentions about potentially Safe and Drug-Free Coalition and some of that. But just, if you will, a little bit of history since the coalition has been formed and the involvement with the Owatonna Police Department. It's a great partnership.
It really is, and I'm very fortunate. I get to be a member of the steering committee on the Steele County Safe and Drug-Free Coalition. And as part of that, I get to give some insight and work as a partner with them. Part of that is we'll do some random canine searches within the school district.
Okay.
We will do some community-wide tobacco compliance checks, some alcohol compliance checks. And we do them on a random basis, and we do them through our detective bureau. And Corporal Mark Edel is one of the individuals responsible for that.
Okay, and we want to get a little more in depth because we understand that we've just wrapped up some of the tobacco compliance checks, and it should be mentioned that these things go on periodically. I mean, it's not, there's not just a big alcohol compliance checks and then it's done. It's something that continues on an ongoing basis, correct?
That is correct. It goes on throughout the year, and we want the, not necessarily a surprise, but we don't want to advertise to the community or the school district that, hey, it's this specific day. That would really diminish the potential impact. But I think what really needs to be said, and I think Corporal Edel will touch on, is we get some really positive responses from the school district and our community businesses. They really are complying, and they're really doing a good job.
Okay, well, let's talk about that then. Corporal Edel, the tobacco compliance checks are the ones that we're really going to be talking about today, and those have just been completed. And how did we do?
It was 100% compliant with business establishments in Owatonna, so it was great.
We're talking about tobacco. We're talking about all types of tobacco, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. Chewing tobacco, snuff, cigarettes, obviously, all those items can fall under that blanket of.
And about how many places are there that inside of, is this our city or our county? Within the city?
Yep, basically the city limits.
Okay. And about how many retail businesses are selling tobacco in one form or another?
Oh, roughly, I would say on any given year, I would say 25 to 35 establishments.
Okay.
And obviously, they have to get a tobacco license from the city of Owatonna in order to do that. And that it even is rolling papers, like people that want to roll their own homemade cigarettes.
Sure.
You have to be 18 or older to purchase that kind of stuff.
Okay, I was going to ask you that in case our viewers might not know, because over time things change, or we may think we know what's going on, but the legal age to purchase and have those in your possession, any of that, is 18 years old?
That is correct.
Okay. So how does a compliance check actually happen? Who does it? How do you arrange that? What happens when, in the business even?
Well, obviously for tobacco you have to be 18 or older to purchase it. And what I've been kind of responsible for the last 5 years or so is to get underage operatives, what we call them, people under 18. And what we do is somebody that I do a little background check on the students, make sure they're trustworthy and honest and reliable. And we give them a little training prior to that of how to go in and handle yourself in the establishment. And after that, if they feel like they're comfortable and ready to go, then we'll go out to the establishments and they'll enter the place.
And we were talking a little bit ahead of time. You said some of these young people might be potentially pursuing a law enforcement career, and so they have some interest in that. Some might be in groups like SHOC, Students Helping Others Choose, that have obviously a desire to keep others from underage smoking and drinking and usage of all types of things. So you're pulling those from the community. They get that little bit of training. They've potentially, obviously, never been into an established and purchase, so you want them to seem as natural as possible.
Absolutely. And like Chief Hiller was saying prior, we want to work with the establishments. We don't disguise our operatives. It's not an entrapment type. We're not out to catch. We want to work with the establishment. We want to make sure that their employees are also properly trained and checking for that ID. And make sure that they're doing the right things. Like I said, we're not out to entrap, catch, we're just make sure that they're doing their job.
Well, it's
the
an
training part.
opportunity for if they don't have them in place, for them to put the right policies and
Right.
procedures in place, and to, as you said, really educate their employees. If
Yep.
the manager or owner of a business can't be there all the time, they have to be able to trust those employees to be doing the same things that they would when they were there.
Exactly.
So we passed then with 100%, as you were saying.
That is correct.
That meant there were no infractions, I guess, if that would be. There were nobody sold to a minor that should not have.
Right.
And that's very credible.
Right, and then after that we send out letters from the department stating that we recently conducted. Obviously we don't give them the date and stuff, but we send out the letter.
Okay.
And I've gotten a lot of calls back from the establishment saying, hey, could you at least tell me the time and date, and when this happened, I'd like to reward my employee for doing the proper, checking the ID, checking for their everything like that. So it's a win-win for them also. And they do call me back and say, hey, I'd like to reward this employee.
Very nice. It's
Yes.
good to know that they're responding well to it,
Right.
too. And then the hope is, obviously, to, if we would have had a not such a 100% success
Yep.
rate, is, again, to get in that business or businesses that may not be doing it correctly and say, here's what you need to be doing, correct?
Right.
Is there any sort of penalty that they incur, though, if that should be found?
Yep. For tobacco, there's a criminal charge
Okay.
for selling tobacco, obviously to somebody underage. And along with the criminal aspect of it is also the city could impose a civil penalty on that particular business. The city could impose a fine, $1 fine, or they may suspend their license for a while. It kind of depends on if this was a first-time offense or maybe 2 or 3. It'll depend on where the city's sitting from that as far as what they should do, how to handle that.
All right, so there are a lot of reasons for them to be doing a good job with
Yes.
this, from a law enforcement standpoint, from a what's good for our kids in the community standpoint, and all sorts of things. Well, good. Congratulations for your work in doing this, and obviously we are very proud of our community. Tanya, I know you want to speak a little bit to that, and Mark just referred to it a little bit. There are businesses who are very pleased that that's happening, and you're actually going to be going out and saying some thank yous to them as well.
We are. We want the businesses to know that our coalition, the parents and the youth and all the members of the coalition are paying attention and want to thank our realtors for doing the right thing for our youth. And so we're going to be organizing an outing actually this Friday. Owatonna schools have the day off, at least up through 8th grade.
They do.
So we thought if there are some young people, maybe some junior high age or even younger, young people that want to accompany adults, and we're going to bring balloons and a certificate for them, and just make it a nice celebration of our retailers. We really do appreciate they're doing a great job, and we want them to know that, you know, we're not just about, you know, criticizing people in our community. We're really about celebrating the people who are doing the right thing. So, again, we're going to be meeting at the United Way at 1 o'clock. If people have questions about that, they can call me at 676-0984 or email me safedrugfree@charter.net. Actually, if you know you're coming, it'd be great to know how many people to expect. So. Just take a moment and let me know that you'd like to join us, and we'd love to have any members of the community that would like to come in and do that. You don't have to be part of our Safe and Drug-Free Coalition. Really, the whole community is part of the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition anyway, so we're happy to have everybody join us that day.
Okay. Well, again, it's been a great effort, and I know the efforts don't just stop here. There are other, as we mentioned, there are other checks and things going on. Just as a point of clarification, too, the alcohol compliance checks probably happen about the same way?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So.
And, you know, obviously you have 21 or older to purchase alcohol. So, and it's basically the same type of training type program for the kids to come in, and they purchase some videos. We watch videos with them. They have, you know, answer all the questions, and we go into the establishments basically the same way.
Okay. They get a little compensation for doing this?
They do.
Too? Don't? Okay.
They do.
So if we have any viewers, and for instance, maybe you know of a young person who might be able to help in one of these situations, they would contact you, Corporal?
Correct.
Okay.
And we do that for on and off sale liquor both.
Okay.
So.
And the establishments are more than we're going to see for the tobacco then, too.
Correct.
We're going to be really...
Any given year, again, it's, I would say, 45 to over 50,
okay,
depending on the year.
And I would just like to thank the Owatonna Police Department for doing such a great job with this, and really adding in some additional compliance checks to make sure that we're really supporting our retailers and our kids. So thank you very much, guys.
Of course, and we'd like to thank you for allowing us to be a partner with Steele County Safe and Drug Free Coalition.
It is. It is a great partnership, and good things are happening. So, again, thank you for joining us, Chief Hiller, Corporal Edel, and Tanya, and good work. Keep up the good work with the Safe and Drug Free Coalition. We'll take a break for our supporters. We'll be right back.
Hi, Warren Abraham, Abraham Consulting Technologies, your one-stop technology shop. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Hello, I'm Sean McNulty with the Sterling House Assisted Living, a part of Brookdale Senior Living. Our mission is to enrich the lives of those we serve with compassion, respect, excellence, and integrity. We are a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back. It is time to wrap up the program here on this Wednesday, March 7th, and we remind you, as we have been, that the training for volunteers for the Crisis Resource Center is coming up on March 10th, this Saturday. If you are at all interested, please give them a call, 451-1202. Riverbend Nature Center is having naturalists speak this coming Saturday from 1 to 2:30. They have a program going on, Searching for Spring. Is it right around the corner or on its way? And we, of course, certainly feel that it is. Habitat for Humanity has an affordable home available through that program as a part of their organization, 2-bedroom, 1-bath Rambler, available in New Richland. It needs some work. There's room for growth and opportunity. Of course, qualifications are based on need, ability to pay, and willingness to partner. So if you're interested in that, please call Habitat for Humanity of Steele, Waseca area, and their phone number is 446-0112. 2012 flower baskets are all set to be put up in the well, not just the downtown area here in Owatonna, but surrounding areas. This program has been going on since 2004 and, of course, gets lots of support from our local community, whether it's individuals like yourself or businesses. It's very easy to donate. They run the funds as a tax-deductible donation through the Chamber Foundation, so you can get a hold of the Owatonna Chamber to find out how you can donate. And of course, those are all started from seed here locally and grown and maintained, and it just really adds a nice color and beauty to our community throughout the course of the summer and into even early fall. So if you're interested in making a contribution to that to keep the flower baskets as beautiful as they are in that wonderful program going, you can do so through the Owatonna Chamber. Started mentioning some scholarships available for students coming up. The Owatonna Hospital Auxiliary Scholarship, that is accepting applications for students planning to attend college, university, or graduate healthcare program. They need to show financial need, pursue a career in healthcare, and live within Steele County. Those can be obtained by either contacting the Owatonna Hospital or the Career Center at your school. Little Theater of Owatonna is seeking applicants for its 2012 Vita Alexander LTO Scholarship, graduating high school students who have been accepted at an accredited 2- or 4-year college for a full-time course of study and have an interest in the performing arts are eligible. Contact Little Theater of Owatonna, or again, get the application through the Career Center. And Owatonna Foundation also has $15,000 available to students planning technical careers. So those are who will be going to technical community colleges to prepare themselves for a technical career are eligible. And again, those applications are available through the Career Centers. Coming up on Friday's program, we will be talking about Big Brothers Big Sisters, Evening for Kids' Sake. Wow, I am tripping over my tongue here. And Daffodil Day is coming up, so please join us then.